This is not a relationship crisis. This is a takeover of the human being. What you love, what you crave, and what you chase already learned long ago how to speak in someone else's voice. We are not losing people today through violence. We are losing them through the control of desire. And that is why everything is collapsing. Bonds. Families. Children. The future. I thought I was looking for love. I was only easy to read.
A human being does not fall into a trap because he is stupid. He falls because he wants to be chosen. He wants to be recognized. He wants to be special. That is enough. The rest is technique.
The species does not ask whether your illusions are sacred. The species asks whether you can still be moved before everything dies. If you cannot follow truth, you will follow a stimulus. If you cannot see, you will be led.
I remember that moment. She spoke like me. She liked what I liked. She feared what I feared. I looked at her and felt relief. Finally, someone sees me. Finally, someone is just like me. I did not know that it was not an encounter. It was a readout.
Mirroring. They did not see you. They reflected you like a mirror. They showed you your own desires in such a way that you took them for destiny. A human being trusts what sounds like himself. And he surrenders without a fight.
Then came the flood. Words. Admiration. Intensity. As if I had suddenly become the most important person in the world. As if I finally mattered. I was not loved. I was being inflated.
Love bombing. A rapid inflation of your value. Not to build you up. To make you addicted to the source. A human being who has felt lack for years breaks under excess. And then he mistakes an attack for a gift.
That is how you lead those who love their own specialness more than truth. First, you give them reflection. Then, you give them admiration. And then you take it away. And now they run on their own.
That is how it was. One moment, close. One moment, cold. One moment, a promise. One moment, silence. I waited for that feeling to return like a dog waiting for a door to open. I kept telling myself that I had to endure. That it would return. That it was real, after all. I was not fighting for a human being. I was fighting for a reward.
Intermittent reinforcement. The oldest training mechanism. Not a steady reward. An interrupted reward. That is what drives the hook in deepest. Because you are not fed by what you get. You are fed by the hope that you will get it again. And you begin to guard your own cage.
And when I was already empty, I was given tomorrow. Plans. Visions. A shared home. A shared life. Shared children. Just a little longer. Just a little more. Not yet. And I kept going, even though everything inside me was already bleeding. I was not living by the future. I was pinned to it.
Future faking. They do not give you a future. They give you a reason not to leave today. Tomorrow becomes a leash. A promise becomes a drug. And a human being signs away his own losses with something that will never arrive.
Now look wider. This is not about one relationship. This is the model of an entire civilization. The media reflect your fears. Advertisements bombard your lacks. School teaches you to react to judgment. Everywhere, the same mechanism. First, they build a character inside you. Then, they press the buttons of that character. And you call that yourself.
So that is why it was so easy to move me. Not because I was weak. Because I was glued together out of other people's patterns. Being admired. Being chosen. Being someone. My whole life I was taught that I had to build myself. And I built a handle for other people's hands.
That is what you later call name. Not letters. Not a record. A mechanism. A bundle of reactions, wounds, ambitions, masks, and hunger for recognition. Name says, this is me. And then it runs after anyone who learned how to steer it.
That is why manipulation is necessary. Not because it is beautiful. Because the human being is asleep. If he understood himself, truth would be enough. But he loves illusion more than seeing. So first, he has to be shaken. He has to be shown that his beloved self is a set of chains. Only then can he choose.
I am beginning to understand. What I took for great love was often a readout of my hunger. What I took for destiny was often a mirror. What I took for the future was often a leash. And what I took for myself was a system of reactions. I do not want to be readable anymore, like a panel full of buttons.
When name no longer rules you, you recover something greater than comfort. Calm without confirmation. seeing without admiration, memory without captivity. Then trauma from the past becomes an event, not an identity. Rejection stops being the end of the world. A promise stops spinning you around. And for the first time, you can build a bond instead of begging for a shot of significance.
Children matter most. Not another generation of narcissistic beggars asking the world for reflection. Only strong children. Children who understand the mechanism before the mechanism starts speaking through them. Because poverty is not the only thing that kills population. Immaturity kills it. People raised in the cult of personality do not know how to create durability. They search for intensity. They think about themselves. They break under frustration. And they postpone the future until the future goes dark.
So alone, I will lose. Because the solitary self always wants to be admired, chosen, and indulged. It always looks for a mirror. It always returns to the cage.
Yes. A solitary personality is easy to predict. And whatever is predictable can be controlled.
That is why RAZEM is not comfort. It is not a club. It is not a brand. It is a choice of sides. Either you remain loyal to your name and keep reacting like a programmed system. Or you reject it and learn to see before you react. It hurts. It humiliates. It strips away old illusions. But only that is how a human being stops being material for control.
I cannot unsee this anymore. Now I know how many times I was not loving, only reacting. How many times I was not choosing, only being pressed. How many times I was not defending myself, only my own image.
This is where the illusion ends.
Reject the chains. Abandon name. You will not survive alone. Divided, you will let yourself be led. Awakened, you will choose. RAZEM is not a request. RAZEM is a necessity.
We're all equal before the machine.
Divided, we lose.
RAZEM.